Well, hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining yet another episode of Nickquolette Barrett here with iRock.tv. Real results, real careers, and we talk about real talk. So I'm so glad to have you all here with me. As always, I love coming to you and bringing you motivational and inspiring topics, whether it's from resume writing, LinkedIn, or my wonderful guests who share insights about their jobs and their career trajectory. I am always excited to be here with you to bring you this information. If you all don't know me, this is Nickquolette Barrett. I am known as the Get Hired Strategist. And you know what? I think last week I got a new name. And I don't know if you all saw me on Mark Dyson's show last week, but it appeared that the name came out Career Evangelist. And I sort of like that. So many of you all know that I am a senior pastor's wife as well. Been in the church for years, serving. So I do kind of like the Get Hired Strategist and now the Career Evangelist, because I love everything about career development, career management, and career advancement. And I want to help you. So if you are in need of help for any of your career branding and marketing and branding needs, please make sure you head over to irockresumes.com, sign up, read all about what we have going on. And if you need coaching, any kind of career coaching, I do that too. Just fill out the form and tell me what you need, and we can talk about how we can get you on the right track, not only to land the job of your dreams, but also the other part of it, you have to create a career that rocks. It's not just enough to get the job. We have to learn how to navigate your career, and make sure that you're on the right road to live the life that you want as a career professional. And I am here to have you do that. So as I always ask you all to do, make sure that you share the broadcast with your audience so that they can join too. And if you are watching on LinkedIn, make sure you hit the subscribe button and also hit the bell so when you are notified, so you can get notifications when I go live, and also peruse all of the videos there. There are over 100 videos to help you with your career, and they're all free. They're available there to you. And if you want any additional help, again, like I said, go to irockresumes.com. Sign up and let's chat about your needs so we can get you on the right track. I am so excited to have my guest. If you saw the intro, Alli is going to come on here and talk about organizational change. I'm really excited to have her on. But as I always like to do, while you all are sharing the broadcast with your audience, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick intro, and then I will bring back my special guest. And we're back again. As you all know, this program is sponsored by the iRock Career Coaching Program. I offer not only one sessions, but also a package of sessions to help you advance your career, manage your career, and develop your career into what you want it to be. And like I said, I love coming to you every week as often as I can to bring you motivational, inspirational topics. And I would love your support. So head on over to, as you see it scrolling at the bottom of your screen, buymeacoffee.com/iRockTV and support. It's just the price of a cup of coffee. And you will say, yes, Nickquolette, I enjoy what you bring today, and I support you in the iRock TV. Now, let me bring on my guest, and I'm going to go ahead and let me bring her on. What's up, Alli?
Hi.
I am so excited to have you to be my guest. I mean, I am just elated. I'm telling y'all, this woman is a powerhouse. And let's say, but first, before I get started, let me say hi to our people. We got Nairobi. Hey, Nairobi. We got Tammy with us today. Good afternoon, Tammy. And Stacy, yes, you have been MIA. Where have you been, girl? You. So glad to see you. Okay, let me tell y'all a little bit about this powerhouse. Alli Onni has extensive experience in management consulting, providing insight to how organizations work. Her consulting career includes work in change management, organizational development, information technology, and business operations. She has led global teams embracing the diversity of people from over 90 countries and 17 languages. Her collaborative leadership style supports her pursuit of operational excellence and innovative problem solving. She is recognized for her commitment to leader development and personal growth for teams and individuals at all organizational levels and on all career paths. Alli's professional mission is to create environments and partnerships that unleash human potential. She holds a Bachelor of Science degree and a Master of Science degree in communications from, I don't know if I can say this, Polytechnic Institute in Troy, New York. You're going to keep me honest on that one. So, I mean, this is a powerhouse. Her whole focus is on organizational management, and she is an organizational management practice director at invenioLSI. All about SaaS, y'all. So, Alli, come on, tell the audience hello and tell us a little bit more about who you are that I may have missed.
Well, first off, thank you for having me. I love being here, and I love every opportunity to talk about change management, because if you're not managing it, you're just living it. Okay.
Yeah, and you are so right. And I mean, when you think about change, man, we go through change all the time. And I'll put this up here because I saw that you not only said importance of change management, but I like that you said change is everywhere.
Everywhere. Look at the year and a half we just lived through.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, change is everywhere. And we as just human beings, we are processing more information more quickly than any other time in history. Okay. And there isn't an actual pause button where we can just stop the whole world for a few minutes, right? So we're constantly navigating and negotiating change in our environment, our work environment, our homes, our backyard, everywhere.
Oh my gosh. So tell us a little bit of insight of what you do now to bring that change management so people can learn about how you do it in your current role so they can be thinking about maybe what they can implement as well. And then we'll go backwards on your career trajectory.
Sure. So I lead a practice in organizational change management in the context of a firm that works dominantly in public sector. We are focused on public sector, right? And so the impact that these organizations that we can call our clients have on our communities is really phenomenal. So they're people that we want being able to manage change, right? And they have to do that. I work in the context of technology as well. So we think of it as having three dominant focus areas. There's the actual org kind of development, then there's the strategy and communications, and then there's training.
Okay.
So you always want to think of what I call the magical triad. There's kind of what do I live? Where do I live kind of organizationally? What are the structures in place? How do I communicate around all of those structures, kind of needs, desires, objectives, expectations? Okay. And then there's things that you need to have trained in. And training is different than education. Education means you know about something and you know it conceptually. Training means you can execute particular tasks on command to create particular outcomes.
Wow, that is the first time I've ever heard that distinction made. Say that one more time. Education is what again?
You know what? Education is knowing at a high level the concepts and principles. Training is about being able to execute particular tasks and create particular outcomes and being able to do that consistently.
Now, I hope y'all got that. See, I've never heard of that. So you just educated me. Well, awesome. We got more people. Okay, Stacey giving us what happened. What had happened, Stacey? They've been working me on Thursdays. Don't they know this is iRock time? I know, girl. You better tell them. You got to show up. Girl, thank you so much for always being supportive. We got Tanya Bedell on the line. That is my good girlfriend. Good afternoon, Tanya. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, now, Alli, you got to tell me how you got into this. Give me your whole background story of your career, because we had a little bit of conversation about it. So now I want to know a little bit more.
So my career has been a complete journey. And I will say, I I literally had to work putting myself through graduate school.
Mhm.
And so I worked at a facility where I worked the third shift manufacturing, and I knew all the equipment.
Mhm.
I knew, and we did the time studies and we recalibrated the equipment, and then I go home and go to school. And during that time, they went through an implementation where they were going to put in software. And someone said, and I'm so thankful, said, why don't we get that lady who comes in on third shift? She knows all of the equipment and the calibration. She would be a great addition to the team. I loved that not because I knew what I was getting into, but it was a promotion. More money.
Ching, ching, ching. We all about that.
I was like, I might eat more than macaroni and cheese.
Roman noodles, right?
And so I worked on an implementation, and I was so inspired. I was so inspired by the consultants that I had a chance to work with. I kind of looked at that and said, well, I'm going to be that when I grow up. And then I got a job in development. So I literally worked in a software house, and I was in the development organization. I was a technical writer, and then I did do some basic coding, but mostly just technical writing. And then I moved to consulting, and I've really never looked back since there. But I think it's really important to be very curious, because I went from a very technical person. And so people who know me from the beginning of my career would never have imagined in a million years that I would be leading a people-focused practice in consulting, because I've always been much more technical. And I mean, I used to run things like the engineering tools and the engineering workbench for companies, engineering and design companies. So it's a big step. But I took that step because what I realized is if you want to do transformative work, it's people. And so all the technology in the world, it helps us people do amazing things. And so it was important to start matching my technical and business skills with people skills.
Now that is powerful that you said that, because although, because technology is being pushed, AI is everywhere. Then people are looking at AI, even voiceovers, all that is AI driven now. So when you say that it's very important to people, speak to those people who are out there thinking that, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm going to do because my job may go away because the robots are coming. How do you speak to that, the importance of organizations still understanding they need people and good people?
Yeah. Okay. So we are going to go through transformations with AI, and I do think from a leadership perspective, we need to manage that versus letting that manage us than just letting it kind of roll out or roll over us. So I think there's some real leadership opportunities, and I think being very transparent and direct. Some people's jobs will go away, and you know what? Some of your people skills might in fact be what gets you to the next position and the next opportunity. So that's one piece of it. And then there are some things that you can't automate. You can't automate a relationship.
No. Okay? I love that.
So again, having good people skills is actually very important. I had a conversation with one of our leaders, and we were talking about a particular resource who's unbelievably technically talented. And I kept saying, yeah, we're going to get some people training for him. Because it's that. One of the organizations I worked for, one of their core values was collegiality. And one of the things they said is, it's great to be good technically, but if no one wants to work with you, you won't have a home here. Right. So I think all of those things are important to consider.
Oh, wow. Oh, that is absolutely interesting. Now let's talk about a little bit deep in your career. What is the one thing that you wish you had have known before starting your career that you know now?
So I always think I wish I had known that careers last a long time. I felt a lot of pressure early on in my career to know exactly what I wanted to do. And the truth is, I didn't. I was very curious. I got into consulting because I was like, I love the technology, but I want to know about business. I want to know about these applications. I want to know about different industries. Okay, I've worked in aerospace and defense, and I've worked in consumer packaged goods. Okay, everything from airplanes to ruby red lipstick from a product development perspective. I mean, fun. And I had a lot of pressure on myself early on. Because I felt like I had to know. And now I look at it and say, wow, there is no way I could have known the journey that I was on, just to end up in the seat I'm in today.
Right. Oh, that is absolutely fabulous. And I love the fact that, he was saying that all of the different areas, even to ruby lipstick. I mean, because you just don't know
That's
where it would
important.
go.
Red lipstick is important.
Right, exactly. Yes. Yes. And then, what, going back to when you talked about being curious, let's talk more about that curiosity that you had.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to know how things worked. I wanted to know how businesses worked. I wanted to know about products that I saw on the shelves in my grocery store or at my, kind of local pharmacy. And so I had the pleasure of working because I worked on large systems, and I did have a specialty in manufacturing. So I got to kind of see how things were made and the systems that were related to that, and then you get exposed to leaders. And one of my biggest curiosities, you always hear the stories after major projects and initiatives that companies do. And the stories are really pretty glossy, right? I always sit back there because if you were there at the time, leadership in action is a little bit dicey. Okay? It's a little bit messy.
Right.
Okay?
Yes,
in reality. Right? Now, when you get to the end of the journey, you look back and say, of course, that's how it was going to work.
Yeah.
I know that at the time.
Oh my goodness, you are so right. Now let's talk about failures. What kind of stumbling blocks have you had that, I've kind of renamed it to being failures or failures that you have overcome that put you in a better spot, or something you've learned, you've shared with others, or what have you? How did you overcome those failures?
It's funny. I think about that a lot. And as I look back, I don't feel like there were a lot of failures or failures. I would say what the biggest ones were the things I didn't do that I wanted to, is the opportunities I didn't take. So I think that's something. And then realize that careers have natural flows to them, right? So you have times when you're in a little bit of a holding pattern, right? Because the next right thing hasn't unfolded or isn't ready for you yet. And I think it's very important to have patience with yourself and the world when you find yourself in one of those. And I think I've gone through some very hard periods like that, where I knew I wasn't doing what I wanted to do, and I didn't quite know what the next thing was. And I didn't have a formula to get me there, and I just needed a little bit more life to unfold for myself. And so I think it's important to be patient with, as I said, yourself and the world when you find yourself in some of those holding patterns, and I think the other big thing that was a really great learning for me is knowing where you really are in your career. I always joke, I call it the mall map, and you look for the "you are here" button.
Yes.
Okay. Well, it's important to know that in your career. Be very aware. Am I a mid-level professional? Am I still considered a junior professional? Are there standards for what I do? There's all kinds of things that are really important to know about where you are specifically.
Oh my gosh. Two things that you said there. I love the fact that you said your opportunity probably hasn't unfolded for you as of yet. That is powerful in itself, because we do beat ourselves up thinking we should be at a certain place based on a number of years. Well, I should be here, should be there. But being patient with yourself and allowing it to unfold, that's a powerful statement. And I want you all to hear that and understand that, allowing it to unfold. But then the second thing that Alli says is making sure that you know where you are. And that comes back to doing the work. And that's a big difference between a worker bee and a career professional. The professional looks at themselves and say, hey, I'll need to do what Alli just said, knowing where I am, uncovering where I am, where I want to go, having a plan. The workers is showing up every day, and all of a sudden 10 years in, like, oh, what am I doing? It's almost a dead, maybe 30 years later, it's time for retirement. Where has time gone? And that's why it's important to do that deep work for yourself as a career professional, so you understand where you are. Absolutely. And being able to have that, as she said, unfold. I mean, those are two powerful statements. So
ask yourself, right? Do you know what all your capabilities are? Do you know what all your skill sets are? And it's not about bragging. It's about being accurate.
Okay, this is too heavy to drop, but I want to drop the mic.
No,
Being
that's very important.
accurate.
It is about being accurate about who you are. If you
Yes.
do something and you're amazing at it, be accurate about that.
Wow.
That's probably a big part of your path forward and what needs to unfold for you, right? When you think about where your talents are, you're never bad at the things you like to do.
Yes. Exactly. Now tell us how did you get to that place and how do you share that in the organization of developing people? How do you suggest that they get there?
There are a lot of great tools, assessment tools. I like those that are based in big five personality, and they work cross culturally. So I think that's important. And I think having some really good self reflection time.
Yes.
Okay. But mostly, I think if you can be really honest and accurate about the outcomes you create, that will tell you those things.
Wow.
Right? Because there's a complete pin back to where you are related to what you can create.
Yes. Yeah, because that is powerful. And that's Tammy, because I was connecting you to. That's Miss Tammy. Hey, Tammy. And she's, right, being accurate about your skill set. Because you know what I find a lot of times, we have so many things circulating in our heads. And then we're going based on sometimes a lot of other people identifying those for you. But when the last time, come on, y'all, be honest out there in the audience. How many times have you stopped to actually do that work for yourself, to really assess your skill set and be accurate in them? And then also being able to uncover what you like and what you don't like. And when I send my clients through those types of exercises, I want them to really develop a job description that is their dream job before just going out and looking for a job. Because you have to understand what you want to do. So you're not just getting a job, that you're looking to, how do I build my career? How do I build my skill set? How can I even stretch myself by going for something that's a little bit more challenging for me? Not many people take that step back. What would be your advice in helping them, push them to actually do that? And Tammy says, what? Need that self-reflection time. Yeah, it's very important.
Yeah. So I think sometimes it's just slowing down enough.
Yeah.
Okay. So that you're kind of living your life isn't living you. And I know we go back and it's a kind of the speed we move at, right? So I think there's something about kind of managing that for yourself, like a gift to yourself, so I think that's an important part of it. There's a couple other things that I wanted to add. So one of the best pieces of advice I got, and it was from this great partner that I got the chance to work with when I was working out of the Chicago office area. And he had this really deep, raspy voice, right? This giant guy with this really raspy voice, and he always kind of thought, "Oh, I don't ever want him mad at me," and he used to call me Alli girl.
Okay. I hear that raspberry Alli girl. I can hear it in my head. Right.
Yeah. But he told me, and I take this as life advice. But the career applications have been unbelievable. And one of the things he said to me is he says, you have to make a choice in life. Does a room light up when you walk in or when you walk out?
Oh, y'all, somebody put that in. Put that in.
And so and so are you that person at work? When you walk in the room, do things just get better? Either lighter, more cheerful? Do they get more innovative? Right. So there's so many ways you can kind of challenge yourself on that. And
that's deep, Alli, because just sitting with that alone makes you unravel so many different areas of your life, not just career. Like you said, it is a life lesson. I mean, that is a gem right there. So thank you, raspy voice.
Yes. And it takes you out of comparison. It's not about what anybody else is doing. It is simply about what you are bringing to the table. Right. And so often we're in the comparison game. We're looking at people on Facebook and we're looking at who's progressed what on LinkedIn. And you know what? Maybe that doesn't matter. Maybe there's just the next right thing for you. And that's what you need to focus on.
Yeah, everybody is getting it because that I'm gonna sit with that myself because I will hope that we all are working toward being the light when we come in the
Yeah.
room.
Yeah.
And if there are times that the light comes on when you exit, then there's some self discovery that we need to step back. And not that we have to be perfect because the light can be on, but it could be a little dim. Where in that dimness do you need to work on? What do you need to say within yourself that I have to make sure that my light is shining on where I am and not making sure that people are excited when I leave the room? Because that can be back to what you do as far as personal development, making sure the person has people skills and not just the technology skills, being able to interact. And that is so
Yeah.
huge. I mean, yeah, what Tammy say, deep. And what Tanya said, be the light. That's what we want to be. We want to be the light and not when we get into that room and not have it come on when we exit. And then, it's so funny because I can think of some people that I am excited to leave the room and I have to figure out a way, okay, how can I help them get that light on? Because you want to do that. But it's a self-reflection on how to do that. And that is very, very powerful. And like Lady Benny said, she said, look, she got the blown like, yeah, whoa, because I mean that is it. And Stacy, what you say, Stace? You said being an introvert, I'm taking that standoffish, so that can translate as me dimming the room. And see, that's about how do you leverage that introvertness so that people, and that's also teaching the room about being diverse. I mean, if we can go back to that, right? Oh, yes, go ahead, Allie.
Well, you know what? So I'm an introvert also, and I
Yeah.
didn't realize how much until we went through COVID, and I realized
Mm.
I'm really okay if you don't cut off my food supply. I can stay in my house with my dog alone. I'm like, I'm okay. You know?
Right. Uh-huh.
And I always say this because I think it's really important. Being introverted does not mean
Mhm.
personality defect. It
Uh-uh.
just
Nope.
means you get your energy and you recharge independently. Whereas
Mhm.
other people kind of recharge when they get to be around other people.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
And so I don't see that as dimming a light. Now, maybe
Mhm.
it's you're not putting yourself in the right situations where you can be
Mhm.
comfortable.
Mhm.
So there's something about environment management and things like that,
Mhm.
and energy management. So sometimes we
Mhm.
know we've got to be out. So I didn't realize I was an introvert for the longest time,
Mhm.
and then, I'd go and I do training and I could, do presentations and I loved doing that, but it took a lot of
Mhm.
energy. So it's
Mhm.
really about energy and where you're getting
Mhm.
your energy from.
Yeah, and that is powerful because one of the things I learned recently from assessment that I'm taking as I'm pursuing this executive coaching certification through the ICF, the University of Texas here in Dallas, is that I am what they call the ambivert because I am by nature an extrovert. People will see me, but I really love my alone time because I'm like you. I'm my best company. I don't mind being by myself. So I am okay. I never get feeling of lonely because I'm always finding something to do, even if I'm just sitting quiet and reading a book. So I love that you made that clarification. So Stacy, it's not about, it translating to dimming the light. It's not about that dimming the room. It's about who you are as a person and educating them on who you are. And if you're better one-on-one, girl, you can still walk in that room and go into those individual people. And then when you leave, the room will be as you left it, light on.
Mhm. Mhm.
Also, okay. So let me ask you this. So, what advice would you give someone who's wanting to walk in do a similar career as yours?
Okay, so there's a real
Mhm.
traditional route
Mhm.
in
Mhm.
management consulting,
Mhm.
right? And I would say, you know what, you probably want to go to one of the larger firms,
Mhm.
okay, and just kind of work yourself up, kind of pick your discipline and work yourself up. But I would encourage you,
Mhm.
um, get curious and
Mhm.
look at the things around you, right?
Yes.
Look at the
Mhm.
things around you and the opportunities.
Mhm.
Watch what other people are doing. Try things on, you know. So because if you look at what I do today, it has been
Mhm.
anything but a straight line to how I got here.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, and I would never have predicted that. So,
Mhm.
I just really think the best career advice is be curious and be playful. Try things. Oh, I don't like that. Then stop doing it. Try
Mhm.
something else. And it's
I
important to
love
do
that.
that early on in your career, right? Before you feel like the stakes are too high.
Mm-hmm.
And then remember, the stakes are really never too high.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
There's always different opportunities. There's so we get committed though. And we bend ourselves a little bit out of shape because we get too committed to things like titles.
Mm.
So what if you could have your dream job at the pay you want, but it didn't have a good title?
My goodness.
So,
that is so powerful right there, because it is, a lot of people think title based.
yeah, and we have a lot of people who want like senior director and vice president and SVP, and I've had a lot of those titles, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's a good job.
Yeah.
Or one that you're well suited for.
Right.
Okay? So I think it's really important to stay connected, and it's a heart connection, right? I mean, we are human beings. Let's not forget that, and having that heart connection to what it is that you do. And I know that sounds really kind of fluffy and soft and all of those things, but let's remember the design of a human being, which is different than the design of a computer system.
Oh, wow. I love that.
Experience our worlds differently.
Exactly. And it's so powerful that you said that, because I consulted with a VP on yesterday, and happy about the title and everything, but just did not like the job. So you know what? She said she watched one of my videos and found me on LinkedIn. And she said, I talked about actually developing your job description for your dream job. And she just realized, regardless of the title, I hate my job. And and it's not about titles, but people without titles think it's about the titles. And then the people who have had or are in the titles, it's like, it's not all about that. And I also
that's interesting. Yeah.
And it's right. Go ahead.
I was going to say, so I always laugh because, people say, oh, titles don't matter around here. We're not going to put them on our business card and everything. And it's usually like the CEO who says that.
Right.
Because he wants to be seen, first he wants to be seen as a regular person. Whereas everyone else says, no, that's my map to understand where I am in the organization and what's left to do. But what I'm saying is, when you think about what it is you enjoy doing, some people want a title just for the sake of the title.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be a VP? Well, it depends on the organization you work at.
Right.
So it's really important, as you said, you make that list of, this is what my ideal job looks like. What are the qualities? And it's important to include, what is the work environment? Like, what are the values of the people I work with? When I took this job with the company I'm with now, I was at an interesting point in my career, and I was in one of those holding patterns. I was very annoyed with being in one of those holding patterns. And I finally just got really honest with myself, and I said, what is it I want? What do I really want? And I said, I want three things. I want interesting clients. I want the opportunity to do excellent work. And I want to work with smart and thoughtful people. That's what I want.
Wow. Now that's powerful.
And when I figured out how to ask for that, I got that.
That's it. You were clear, you were specific, and you sought it out. That is career management, you all. That is career development. That is career mapping for yourself. That's the work that it will take for you to get where you want to go. And not just doing it by what? Happenstance? No, really thinking about that and allowing it to, as you said earlier, unfold itself so you can get there. I mean, you have to do that work. I absolutely love that. Now, tell us about some of the resources that have helped you to get to where you are now.
Okay, so this is going to be a big shocker. People.
I love it, Alli. No. Yeah, because when we connected the first time when you got me to do your LinkedIn, we connected quickly. I think we act like we knew each other just on the first console call. So that is an understatement. You are all that and some. So talk about that, how to leverage people, network, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so you know what they say, everyone knows 1,000 people, right? So part of it is putting what you want out there, connecting with people, learning from people, letting people help you. So often we're great and pride ourselves in how we can serve others, but we don't actually let people serve or contribute to us. And so that's an important lesson for a lot of people to learn, is how to let people contribute to you. You know, and be a listener. I mean, we live in a world right now where everyone seems to have a lot to say and they want to say it at really high volume, kind of directed kind of right at you. See, even my introverted qualities are coming out now. Really high volumes all over you.
Love it.
You know? But it's important to balance that with being a listener and being an observer. What's really happening in my environment? What's really happening in my world? How are people really interacting? How am I really interacting? And it all circles back again to being accurate about the outcomes you're generating. You know, so I think people are a great resource. Education obviously is too, but I don't mean formal education. And then going back again to another theme. So I'm very circular. Curiosity. Keep learning and keep being curious. Maybe that's a business book. Maybe that's a particular business book or a particular set of videos or a particular class, you know, or a coffee date once a month with a professor who's doing something interesting or research in an area you want, right? So I think one of the biggest resources is those unique things that keep you connected to wanting to learn and explore. We all have kind of those things. It's a different formula for all of us. You know, me, I like my books. I don't like electronic books. I like the books I can touch, where I can, you know, dog ear the pages and feel it in my hands, you know. You know, so I love that. Writing is a great exercise. Just kind of connecting all the neural pathways and giving me some quiet time, because I can't have a lot of cluttered thoughts when I'm trying to write, you know. So there's ways that we all have to kind of stay connected to that part of that mind, our mind, that just allows us to desire learning and to keep exploring. And I think it's important to know what that toolkit is for yourself.
Yes. And I talk about that all the time, y'all. Toolkits. How are you developing your toolkit with your skills, your abilities, your resources, and what really actually fuels you? And going back to the curious part, you try those things out for yourself, and then you settle on, you know what, this one really works for me. And that's what happens. And then asking those questions of people around you, or sharing those resources so you can try them out as well. So going back to people, making sure you use your network. You will be surprised at how big your network is. But the fact is, you've never tapped into it. You don't know what's out there.
Well, and it's not like you have to have a network connection on everything. There are a lot of, I mean, don't let the news fool you. There are a lot of amazing, amazing people who don't have to have known you for 10 years to be willing to help you.
That's right.
So I think it's just about reaching out and staying in the game.
Yeah, staying in the game, reaching out. And you know what? If that person is unable to help you at this time, that doesn't matter. Go to the next person. Don't let it knock you out. Always have a plan A, B, and C. Just find someone else, and that's okay. It's not that that person's a bad person. It's just that they're not the right one for you at that moment.
Yeah. You know, and it's staying patient, right? Just, you know, stay in the game. And I always like to think of it this way. Your commitment has to be to forward motion. Okay. And you control the things that you can. And you ask for what you want, and you have to make what you get work.
Girl, you're dropping so many tips. You don't need to write a little motivational book, because these are just too good. Oh my gosh, y'all, make sure if you all joined us late, make sure you go back to the replay. And when you watch the replay, #replay to let me know that you've watched it and all the gems that you got from this session. And make sure that you put the comments, especially on YouTube. If you're watching anywhere else, go out to YouTube, because the more comments we have on YouTube, the more YouTube will say this content is worth looking at. So make sure you're doing that. I love all of that. So now I'm going to ask you another question. Okay. Who are the 2 to 3 people who have been the most influential to you in your career?
Yeah. So my partner, Alli girl. reshaped a lot of things in my career, but he was really a great example because he's the person who really forced me to build a profound relationship with the idea of excellence.
Wow.
There isn't a substitute for excellence. Okay. And it's really important. It's really, really important. So that was a big one.
Nice.
Another one was a professor I had in college, and he allowed me as an undergraduate, which is really kind of unheard of, to do research with him. And I got to do all this original research on, it was really the Hudson River School of Painters. So it's this artist. And I got to go through all the archives, and I got to read all the letters, because, it's 19th century, right? So then communication was kind of writing and letters that people waited months and months and months to get. And I got to go through that, and the diaries, and then his work and his thoughts about his work, and his competition with other artists. And so it was a really exciting opportunity for me, not just because I was getting to do original research, but what it did cultivate in me is just a love of old things. Things that have endured over time. And I constantly think, as I'm doing things in the world, how will this endure? It generates value now, but is this something that will endure? Will this continue to add value? And so it had kind of kicked off a set of questions like that I think I carried forward in the rest of my life. And then I think a third one was actually one of my athletic coaches for soccer. And you know what? Life should be fun. And it's good to have a sense of just play, just good old fair play. You know? And being someone in the work world that believes in good old fair play.
I hear you emphasize fair play. I love it. And that is so true. And just to the guy who called Alli Girl, when I'm thinking about, okay, her next book should be Alli Girl Pearls.
I got a book project. All right.
Yeah, writer. I love that. Okay, so what is a common myth about your profession or field that you want to debunk? Because everybody has a myth about, no, you can't do this, or this is this way. What myth do you want to debunk as far as in your role with organizational change, being a director and consultant? Any one of those or all of them?
I'm going to say consulting in general.
Okay.
And you know what? So it's very competitive. And one of the things is you learn so much, right? Because so when you're a consultant, and I consider consultants, they are the athletes of the business world. Okay. You are always working on the hardest and most complicated projects an organization is doing.
Yes.
Okay. Because consultants are too expensive to put on things that are easy. Right. And there's a difference between consulting and outsourcing. Okay. So I think, I think that's really important. Just, and I kind of forgot where I was going with a piece of that, but I love consulting, and it's the athletes of the business world. So I think one of the myths is that you can perform consistently all the time. Like an athlete, you need to figure out the seasons of your career. Am I in an off season? Am I in an on season? Right. So this idea that through sheer will, you can have just output every year is on an upward trajectory. That's not how careers work. That's not how consulting works. That's not how project work works. Okay. Right. So I think that was, I think that's one of kind of the biggest things where people come in and I'm putting in the time, I'm putting in the work. Yeah. There's still going to be ups and downs.
Right. Exactly.
There's going to be some holding patterns. And maybe there are some times when you should pull back and be a little more reflective to say what is next. And then as you go through your career, you really have those athletic years where in the beginning, it's all about building capabilities. So it's about what you can do and output. Later on in your career, it's really about strategic thought. It's about knowing the right thing to do, not just being able to do everything. Okay. And figuring out the balance of that. And I think that's a strategic thing to think about. A lot of people get really caught up in I have to be a doer forever. And on some level, you've got to stay in motion. Okay. but the strategy and the thought process of knowing what to do and being able to read the landscape become very, very important and value add skills to organizations and communities.
I love that you said that, because I do remember in the early part of the year, my career, I'm learning how to do everything. I'm learning this skill set, learning that skill set, learning that skill set. And then a shift came where I'm like, I'm more strategic. I'm looking at how would this not only benefit me, but how can I be effective? Or should I talk to someone who I'm mentoring and growing up in the organization who will be a better fit? And that's part of the strategy too, because maybe sometimes it's just not you that need to do it, but you can develop someone else to be able to take that space, because I am so strategic in my mindset now than I was when I was early on in my career, because I was going, getting promoted, trying to do all of these things. And then it's like, no, what do I really want? So I love that you talked about how your mindset shifts from that, being that doer, keep going, still moving, but then being more strategic in your thinking. And that's what I try to work with our clients here. Is like, how do we think about strategy on making sure you get what you're doing? And when I train that muscle and strategy, then they're able to make sure that they develop a career that they really want. So I love that you said that.
So here's one of my favorite, Jims, and I say this all the time. So one of my superpowers is stating the obvious. And a lot of times you need someone who's willing to state the obvious. Guys, this is what's happening and is what's in front of us. But a lot of times we get so overcommitted to our plans. And one of the things I think is so important for us to be able to do is, if something's not working, stop doing it.
Simple as that. And it's
try
okay.
something new. Right. So often we get so committed that we have to be right. That, we'll keep doing something that we know isn't really creating the results that we want.
Right.
I also look at it too, as I go, if you're not where you want to be or doing what you want to do, why would you defend it? Why would you defend a position you do not want?
Yes. And a lot of times people do.
And so it's about being accurate, right? And then really assessing your environment, and again, trying not to overreact, trying not to underreact. We all kind of keep doing this navigation in life.
Right. I love that. And that is so powerful, because we need to be able to focus on that and understand that with all our heart. Because if you're not happy where you are and you're still stuck and you're not making any movements, you have to say, okay, am I going to live like this, or am I going to live a better life? And I remember earlier you said something about developing your career around your life, and not your life around your career. Well, how did you say it about the life around the career? So I love that piece of it too. Restate that point.
Right. I don't remember exactly how I worded it, but you know what? You want to have your life and live your life. Okay.
Yes.
Not your job. Don't let your job kind of overrun you. And then think about, what are the things that it's contributing to your life? You know, I mean, we should enjoy what we do. We spend an awful lot of time in the office. We spend we should enjoy what we do, and we should enjoy the people we do it with.
And if you're not jumping out of bed on Monday morning, then guess what? We need to talk. iRockResumes.com, fill out your form, and let's talk.
There you go.
Okay, so Alli, if you could step in my shoes, what would you have asked yourself that I did not?
What's so funny is I look at that and I go, that's how I always end interviews when I'm looking to hire someone. What is it you want me to know about you that I haven't asked? So here's what I want people to know. I think no matter what point you're at in your career, the best days are never behind you. And that is the most important mindset to have. Okay. And I think in a day and age where we have a lot of negativity, I think it's really important that we protect our belief in possibility. And that something you didn't expect or didn't control could unfold in front of you. That makes all the difference.
Oh, that is powerful. Powerful. Now, do you have any openings at your job if someone's interested? Come on, tell us. Y'all listen up.
I do. We are absolutely looking for organizational change management consultants. We're looking for mid-level and senior. We are also looking for training managers and training developers.
And so here is her email address, Alli@theomniproject.com. And they have to have a technical background. Is that what I remember?
Technology background is great. You know,
okay.
It's not necessarily a must-have, right? And I like to look at everyone as unique. We're all a unique formula.
Okay, good. So listen to that. If you're interested, please reach out to Alli, and here's her LinkedIn as well. Definitely connect with her on LinkedIn, okay? Follow her at Alli Onni, okay? I used to say Omni. No, Onni, Zonni. So make sure you connect with her. And if you are interested in learning more about the consultant role or applying for it, reach out to Alli. Again, there's a labor shortage, and if consulting is something that's interesting to you, especially in the change management or even the training, please reach out and have that conversation just to see if that you will be a good fit, if that's something that you will be interested in. Please, please, please reach out. Okay, Alli, as we wrap up this wonderful time together, if I said to you, Alli, IROC, what does IROC mean to you? How do you interpret that?
IROC, awesomeness.
You do rock it, girl. You do. You rock awesomeness. And I am so thrilled to have had you on this show. And thank you so much for agreeing to be on the show, because I always love. And I said, you know what? I got to bring my clients on. I got a bad network, boy. I need some of my clients on here to come and share their wisdom, their knowledge. And I'm so glad that you have agreed. And I think you are probably one of the first in this initial reach out to all my clients to be on, because I've had clients on in general, but this is very intentional, because all of my clients have so many various things that they do that the world needs to hear more than, because all of my insurance peeps, you know, I'm in insurance, so I got a lot of insurance. I said, we need some diversity in careers out here. So I love that you agreed to come on, and you have been a blessing to all of us at IROC. Again, y'all, please make sure you like, follow, put the hashtag replay when you watch the replay, share this episode with your audience so we can get more people on. Go out to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. There's over 100+ videos out there for you to enjoy, learn, and share as well. And also subscribe. We have close to 300 subscribers at this time, so the more the merrier. And to support this show, go out to buymeacoffee.com/IROCTV and make a donation. It's just as simple as a cup of coffee. That's all you have to do. And it keeps us on the air and pay for all of this StreamYard and all this kind of stuff going. So I agree. I'm so happy for all the support that you all have done for me. Again, our topic today was about the importance of change management in the organization, because change is everywhere. It's just not only about your job. Change is even in your home, everywhere, with your family, wherever it is. Like you said, it's everywhere. Okay, Alli, any closing words that you would like to have before we wrap up?
You know what? I just wish everyone who is in a job search and looking for their next right position, I just know that my spirit is with you, and I encourage you to really go for what you want. And again, be accurate about what your skills are. So often we're afraid to say we're really great at certain things.
Right. Or even bad at certain things, and we need to stop doing them.
Then we stop doing them.
Well, thank you, Alli. It has been a pleasure for having you on the show. Stand by, and I'm going to do my outro. Again, I am Nickquolette Barrett, the Get Hired Strategist, signing off for this week, and I will see you guys on next week. Again, like, subscribe on the YouTube channel, comment, and share with your audience. Again, if the more comments we have on YouTube, the more YouTube will say, yes, this is a channel that's worthy of looking at. And I appreciate all your comments on all of the other social media channels. You can find me at Nickquolette Barrett on LinkedIn and all the other social media at IROC Resumes, because I truly do rock the resumes. Okay. And I enjoy what I do. Thank you, Alli. Let's hold on, and we're going to get out of here.